Welcome to The Way Home with Laura Smith, the show that brings you wonderful guests, helpful advice, and uplifting stories. The Way Home. Live inspired. Here's your host, Laura Smith.
Well, hello there. It's great to be with you in the springtime when there does seem to be promise, even though the weather's gone from snow one day and 40, 30 degrees and 77 the next, with some very scary tornadoes in it as well. But I am happy to be here because this is the place where nothing seems to affect it. The weather doesn't matter. We just enjoy each other's company, and I am so grateful for the wonderful guests that always bless my show, grace my show with their presence, and this one is no exception. My first guests are, Dave Bennett is actually, I would say, somebody that we've had so often at this point that he's become a fan favorite. He is a wonderful jazz musician. He's been coming to the Elkhart Jazz Festival for 21 years. However, he has stepped out of his comfort zone in his box to do something that he says could be his favorite project ever. He has teamed up with his favorite pastor of a wonderful church up in Michigan, Reverend Tom Hampton, and they've come together on a lovely new album called Coming Home, very apropos to the show here on The Way Home with Laura Smith. And they've released the first song, which is Wayfaring Stranger, a beautiful song that does depart from the jazz genre and more into folk and roots music and Americana. So we're going to be hearing from them in just a moment. And also, speaking of home, we are going to be playing an encore presentation of a segment that I did last April with the great Tom Kraeutler. He is a home improvement expert and also was known for his fabulous radio show of so many years, The Money Pit. Everybody loved it. Everybody felt like Tom was someone they could count on to get all the best advice about home improvement. And he sadly passed away just 2 months ago. And so we want to honor him by playing this wonderful segment from last year, April, at this time. And so we wish those who love Tom and all of us who miss him on his radio show lots of love and Godspeed up in heaven. And when we come back, we're going to hear from, the heavenly tones of music from Dave Bennett and Tom Hampton.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Way Home with Laura Smith.
I am a poor wayfaring stranger, wandering through a wearisome land. There is no sickness, no toil nor danger in that bright land to which I go. I'm going there to see my Father. I'm going there, no more to roam. I am just going over Jordan. I am just going over home. I know
a beautiful, almost haunting sound that is called Wayfaring Stranger. It is from a new album that has, somebody that my audience has known for the past several years, past 3 years, I guess, because he is super well known, in the jazz circuits normally, but here to Elkhart County for sure, because he is probably one of the longest running annual guests at the Elkhart County Jazz Festival. And this is his 21st year, and he's only 23 or something. So it really is quite a miracle. But that would be Dave Bennett. But he teams up here with Pastor Tom Hampton. They have been performing together at the Community Bible Church, which is up in Michigan, for 9 years. But Tom has been there for 47 years, and the church has been there, since the 1800s. So it's so beautiful to have both of you with us today and your beautiful music along. Thank you so much for joining us on the way home.
Glad to be here.
For having us, Laura.
Well, as I said, Dave, we're used to having Dave here. He is the young and illustrious clarinet virtuoso. But not only does he play the clarinet in a way that really I had really never heard anybody play, except for maybe Benny Goodman, and they're not one and the same, although you think they are when you close your eyes. But he plays every other instrument you can think of as well, and with much prowess, and he's so incredible. And having him come every year to the Elkhart Jazz Festival, he is so beloved, and everybody, they just can't wait till they see their Dave. But so having him and then having you here, Tom Hampton, and this is very interesting. And what a different sound of music that you guys are doing together. Did you meet in the church together? Is that how you met?
Around that, I met Dave. It was 23 years ago. My wife and I are having dinner in a nice restaurant near our home here, a little place called Clarkston, Michigan, and my friend, the musician that was playing in the lounge that night, said, "I've got a young man from the high school, from Kettering High School, and he seemed to be an absolute virtuoso clarinetist, and I'm going to have him come and play a song." And I said, "Well, my friend Terry thinks he's good. I must listen." So I stepped in to the bar, and Dave just blew me away. And then a few years later, I was able to meet him a couple of different places, and then finally we got together and decided to try playing together, and played at church now for a long time.
So that I've seen some of your videos before. In fact, there is a video that is going along with this brand new song that's from your brand new album, but you are dropping the songs one at a time. So the audience can just immerse themselves in the one tune and then wait for the next one to drop. That seems to be how you guys are doing it. Dave, so you being known for your jazz and then also your rockabilly and some of your more fusion-y styles, all of a sudden now you're playing church music. It's so beautiful. And I've heard you play in the church in Elkhart before, and it's just like it brings tears to your eyes. It's so beautiful when you play there. But tell us what that's like for you. Does it feel like a natural fit, or do you feel like a little bit of a fishy out of water?
It feels totally natural. When Tom and I started playing together, we just felt like musical kindred souls, especially in that way. And I love the way he plays and the way he sings. And just for my own enjoyment, I enjoy that style of music to listen to, that Americana, roots, folky type of sound. So when I had a chance to put my clarinet to that, it was really freeing for me, because it's just the type of music that I love to listen to. And I feel like it's more of an extension of where my heart is. So I've said before, I personally feel this is my favorite album I've done so far. And to have Tom with me on this, it's just been such a pleasure in every arena, musically, personally. We had a lot of fun making the record, and it was an absolute ball.
And it's so interesting because the music lends itself to being, so much more subdued than what you do. I mean, you play the piano like with your feet when I see you on stage, but here you are with this really, just this peaceful tone and the quietness and Tom's beautiful, warm voice and the two of you together. And I'm thinking, gosh, but you know what? You're a real musician. Every type of music is probably your favorite in some form or another, because you just love music. And to see you guys together, though, is it's a unique thing too. You filmed the video inside of this beautiful church from 1869, the Life Point Chapel in Waterford, Michigan. Now that's up kind of where you live, Dave, correct?
Right. Yeah. It belongs to a friend of ours, Pastor Rick Bosnick. He purchased the church here a few years ago, and they renovated it. It sat dormant for a long time. And I would play there every Christmas Eve. And when we realized we should probably do a music video to accompany the first single, Tom and I thought this would be the perfect place to do it. So we contacted Pastor Rick, and he said, absolutely. So we went in there, spent a day, and it's a real thrill. In fact, that's where we did our album release concert here last weekend. And
oh, I see. What a perfect backdrop to the album, I'm sure. And, and I know that you love God with all your heart. I often see your beautiful posts on Facebook and you love church too. So it's just, it seems like a full circle almost for you. And how about for you, Tom Hampton? What is it like to be playing with that virtuoso that you saw almost a quarter century ago?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. What a thrill of my life. I've played solo for, my goodness, I've played for about 60 years. I was born just before the Great Flood, I think. It was a long time ago. And to be at this age, I'm 72 this year. And to be able to team up with a guy like Dave, and he not only, I mean, he's just the dearest friend I have. And he, when you're playing with a virtuoso like this, I mean, like you said, he plays everything. And he's so good looking. All of this just works for this guy. He's amazing. He makes me sick. I'm telling you.
It is true.
No, he's just been so much, just a joy to play with. Do you know how to confuse a guitar player? You put music in front of him. Okay, that's what you do. And then you end up with a virtuoso like Dave that can play everything perfectly. It's just absolutely. He's a fabulous guitar player, too. On one of our cuts on the album, Judgment Day Blues, he lays down a guitar lead that just burns the house down. It's just awesome, So,
yeah, and when you say the house, you're talking about God's house.
That's right. It is.
He does. It is one of those incredible things when you do watch Dave. He sits down at the piano and then he looks like he's a virtuoso at that. Then he picks up his clarinet and then when he sings and he sounds like this, he's got these dulcet tones that sort of blends a little bit like what's our friend Chris Isaac. He's got that kind of vibe going on. And yes, he is too good looking for his good. Okay. And so, yes, I don't blame you. But you know what? Right. He's the kind of person, he's so humble about it. Everybody in the room ends up looking better, too. Yeah,
you're right. You're so true.
Well, I'm so happy for you guys getting to be able to do this like this. And share who wrote the lyrics, who wrote the tunes. How does that work? Who's the John Lennon and who is the Paul McCartney?
Oh, okay. We have one song on this album that we wrote. Dave, can I answer this question? Do you want to say something about this? I wrote the Judgment Day Blues. Everything else are songs that we have gleaned from other wonderful artists. And a couple of the songs, we have a song in the bleak midwinter that was probably written in the middle 1700s. And then you have
I heard that one. I heard that. I think he snuck a video of that when you played it, not for the album, but just played it on your own. Does that make sense? Because I feel like I've seen that. And that one just it's moving.
Yeah, we were on, was it Channel 4 in Detroit for that day? Yes. Is that where that video came from?
That's where I saw it.
Yeah. And so that's ancient. But the Wayfaring Stranger song is an ancient song. I learned it from my family. I have one little 95-year-old lady in my church that died 2 years ago. She told me that in Tennessee, her grandfather would come over the mountains singing this song, coming to their house to see the grandchildren. So, I mean, it goes way, way back. So, and some of them are more modern that you've heard before, too. But they're just songs that we love. And, the world is a strange place right now. And to be able to just share the simple truths of the gospel are just encouraging and helpful to our friends. And we love them and want to send this out to them.
And are you still a reverend? Or are you still the pastor at the church?
Yep, still
47 years?
Yes, I was ordained about 50 years ago. And the church here called me when I was 25 to work with a dear friend, Dr. Myron Gall, who now has been my associate for many, many years. And he's still with us. But I've been the senior pastor since 1981 there. But on staff there since 1978. So, yeah. Wow. Crazy.
This is truly amazing, truly wonderful.
I told you I was old, so there you go.
No, but you know what? Nobody can see you here except for me on Zoom, and I'm telling you, you're good looking. It makes total sense that Dave picked you as his sidekick or each other's sidekick, because you are distinguished and very handsome too, and way too pretty for radio. That's for sure.
Thank you.
But I think it's just a wonderful thing. And you're right. The way, whatever is happening in the world right now, if there's anything that can unite us, it's song, it's music, and of course the gospel. And boy, I think that soothes everyone's soul right about now. So Wayfaring Stranger, what a great story about that woman who's 92, her grandfather coming over the hills and singing that before visiting his grandchildren. So you have that. Now you start out with that. When is the next song set to drop, as they say?
That should be in a week or so. And the next one we're going to be releasing will be Tom's original Judgment Day Blues. Now, that's the rocker on the album, because Tom asked me to play electric guitar.
Oh,
and it's a real loud drive-in blues rockabilly tune, and it was a lot of fun. So we thought we'd show a different side pushing that song.
Are you doing this on purpose, or your house there in Nashville, Godsey Media? Are they doing this on purpose so you come back on the show every month? Is that how you're working this?
That wasn't the plan, but we can work that out.
Well, hey, we would.
Yeah.
Yes, truly, I would love it. That would be tremendous. Absolutely beautiful. Real quick, on the Jazz Festival, since we are, what are we, like 2 months away? We're 2 months away from the Jazz Festival in Elkhart. I'm assuming they invited you back.
Yes. So I'll be playing only one day at the festival this year. I'm playing on Sunday, and we have that concert. I'll be playing a concert or a Sunday morning service at the Presbyterian Church that morning.
Yes.
And then I'm also guessing with the Elkhart concert band the following Tuesday. So I'll be in town, but it'll be the later part of the weekend instead of the full weekend this year.
I see. And will you be playing anywhere else since you're here? Can you find any other venues, or are you just going to be too maxed out with the festival?
I think I'm just doing the festival. I don't have anything else booked, but I'll be around town. So.
Good. Oh, I'll come find you.
Cool.
Yes. No rest for the weary, for sure. But that's exciting. Now, Tom, are you going to be able to make it to our jazz festival this year?
We haven't talked about it, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
That would be what if Tom could show up for the church service?
Well, Tom and I can discuss a few things and see how it goes.
I think I've just become your agent and your manager all in one fell swoop.
What great ideas you have. This is awesome. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I just love it so much. And you guys doing this project is really just heartwarming and beautiful. And what the world needs now is love, and sweet music. You guys have it, this new album that the very first song has dropped. It's Wayfaring Stranger. And we're going to get to hear how many songs altogether on the album?
9.
So this is going to be happening until like December? We getting to hear these songs?
No, so they're going to be releasing the first 3 singles and then the entire album right after.
I gotcha. Okay, I was going to say, don't do that to me. It's going to be too hard to wait that long in between songs. Great. So the first 3 are coming out quickly, and then the whole rest of the album with the last 6 songs. Godsey Media, is there any relation to the fact that you're a pastor and the word God is in that, or no? Was it just a coincidence?
A mutual friend of ours hooked us up with Godsey Media in Nashville. They're a wonderful group, and we're grateful to have them helping us promote the album.
Okay, and you have a gentleman by the name of Scott Loudon who actually filmed your video at Life Point Chapel in Waterford up there. Beautiful, from 1869, the chapel. Tell us anything else we need to know about each other, yourselves, your music, or anything for that fact.
We hope to be doing this for a lot of years to come. It's just so much fun for both of us, and people seem to really enjoy it. So we're going to do it as long as they'll listen. You know, we enjoy each other.
I second
Wonderful.
that.
You second that? Okay. So for the next 30 years, Dave Bennett and Pastor Tom Hampton are taking their show on the road, and they're going to be performing their songs in church and other places as well when I get done with them. And I'm just so happy for both of you. Thank you for all you do to keep beautiful music alive. I mean, again, Dave Bennett's music is so timeless. Mm-hmm. He's so young, and yet he makes you feel like you're stepping into other times when you listen to him play. And you too. I mean, you being your age and playing that, writing that cool song that he's the rockabilly song. So, age is just a number, and I'm sticking with that. And you guys are a perfect example. Thank you so much, both of you. Where can people find the album and get the songs as they're released?
Well, they'll be streamed from all different platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and everything. As far as getting hard copies, they can email me at my website, and we can handle that. Unfortunately,
DaveBennett.com? Is it?
Right.
Yeah. And
that's the way to do it.
Okay. So, I'm sorry because I interrupted you there for a second. The name of the whole album together, and do you guys have a name for yourselves as a duo?
Just Dave Bennett and Tom Hampton, and the name of the album is Coming Home.
Coming Home. That's beautiful. And that you're on the way home with Laura Smith. So it's all about that. And yes, you'll always have a home here on all the radio stations. So I thank you both. And Godspeed. God bless you on this wonderful new album, Coming Home. And look for Dave at the Jazz Festival, and Tom too, if I have anything to do with it. Thanks so much, you guys. Beautiful to see you. God bless you. Thank you for all the beautiful music and for being here today.
Thank you.
See ya.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Way Home with Laura Smith. Here's Laura.
As I said in the opening, I have been looking forward to this interview for quite a while, because the last time I spoke to the wonderful Rita Soronin, president and CEO of Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption and Forever Families for Children in Foster Care, it was a good long 8 years ago already. But I never forgot it. It was one of those, over the years, I've interviewed so many wonderful people, but there are always just a handful that stay so close to my heart, and because they made such an impact on me. And Rita is one of those people, and the foundation, of course, the Dave Thomas Foundation is one of them as well. I did everything I could to find her, and luckily and thankfully I did. So I'm so grateful. Last month was actually Foster Care Awareness Month. We're just a week out of that, but foster care awareness is something that should be every day of the year, and also for adoption. So Rita, thank you so much for joining us today, and congratulations on 30-year anniversary at the Dave Thomas. Well, not you at the Dave Thomas Foundation, but the foundation itself.
It is 30 years, and I am so excited to be with you. I can't believe time has sped by so quickly since I last saw you, but it's a delight to be with you. I'm so excited. Thank you for 30 years. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption was founded in 1992.
Wow. And I just remember being excited when I heard about all you were doing. And I loved this story. So for my new audience, and maybe some of my old audience who still follows all of my programs and such, I would love for you to give us a little background just on where Dave Thomas had this wonderful brainchild to bring this into being. It's a beautiful story.
It's my favorite thing to talk about. Look, we sit on the shoulders of Dave Thomas. He was adopted as an infant. I think most people still remember that he created the Wendy's company, those amazing square hamburgers and Frosties. And as he was progressing into the later part of his career at Wendy's and really thinking about stepping aside as CEO, what he wanted to do was assure that there was this notion of real activity on what the Wendy's company was doing and was in their DNA, which was giving back. But how do we do that in a much more impactful way? And so this connection that he had to adoption, and he was in foster care just for a little bit, but his life was not the easiest, even though he was adopted and even though he had family, unlike so many of our kids who linger in foster care. But his mother passed away when he was relatively young. His father was a bit of an itinerant worker, so he moved from place to place, and he was really raised by his grandma Minnie. And so he uniquely understood, I think, our children in foster care who were older, who were wondering about family and home, and he left home at 16 and started out on his own. So just a unique identification with those vulnerable older kids in foster care, I think. But then decided, at that point in 1992, when he created the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, there was not a robust conversation in this country about foster care and foster care adoption. And if there were conversations, I think the children and the system was rife with myths and misperceptions. So he decided that's really where we should be, a laser-like focus, and created the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption to be a national nonprofit public charity focused exclusively on children in foster care who are waiting to be adopted. And we've carried that legacy, I hope, in a way that he would have wanted it to happen. He passed away not less than a year after I started at this foundation. And so it's my one regret that I didn't have a lot of time to spend with him and really understand what's your vision for this foundation, what should we be doing. But I hope that the work that we've done over the past few years really respects the legacy that he created and the conversation that he changed on behalf of thousands and thousands and thousands of children over the years.
It's really remarkable because it is about the conversation around it. I mean, growing up, and I'm not that old, but it wasn't a taboo, but it wasn't something that was, extremely, people weren't open about it as much, adoption. I remember I had some cousins that were adopted, and it was almost like a hush hush. Well, yes. We don't talk about that, and not everybody knows that. They just pretend as though they're, they were born to the family. And I think about that, and it just boggles my mind. My sister ended up adopting her only child from an orphanage in Indonesia because she's been living there with her husband for the last 32 years. And Amina is the light of our lives, and we couldn't love her anymore. And she is just extraordinary. She's 21 now and at Syracuse University. But these are the wonderful, happy stories around it. The foster care system and them aging out of it. I learned a bit about it through you and through Jimmy Wayne, the country singer. I've had him on my show many times, and because he talks about that and advocates for that as well. You're a child advocate, and I know that you've been before the House and our legislature to really try to talk to them about it. How far have we come, Rita, in terms of maybe increasing the age requirement for kids to age out of foster care, because it was so young before, and so many of those children found themselves floundering that weren't adopted, weren't in any family. So how has that changed since you and I spoke last in 2014? 2014,
can you imagine? I know. A couple of things, in response to that. First, a majority of states have changed their aging out age from 18 to 21. Is that still enough? I don't know, but at least it gives a couple of more years of time for a youth to really engage at a level that will help ensure their success. But we've also, it wasn't so long ago that you would find in caseworker case files, as we grew a program that responds to these kids who are most likely to age out of care, we would find in case files literally the phrase that said, "This child is unadoptable." And it was probably because they were 13 or 14 or 15, and they didn't believe that someone would step forward and adopt this child. And so that's when, not only in conjunction with encouraging states to raise that age so that kids don't have to leave the system at 18 completely on their own, but we created a program that really looks at how do we serve these children better, and how do we assure that rather than aging out as the permanency outcome, a permanent family is the permanency outcome for these children, which is the goal. The day that these children who have been abused or neglected, they're in care through no fault of their own, the day that they are permanently terminated from their family of origin, and, first, think of those words, terminated from family of origin, so that grief and loss that they experience for the rest of their lives, no matter what the circumstances were, our promise to them is we will find you a family. But in this country, still, I will tell you that from 2014 to now, those numbers have not gotten significantly better. Around 20,000 children every year turn 18 or 21 and leave foster care without a family. But we created a program that responds to that we're taking to scale all across the country, in all 50 states and DC. And the idea is it's a rigorous model of practice that allows full-time adoption professionals to carry smaller caseloads, to focus exclusively on the longest waiting children in their community, to put in place these really successful tactics that will assure a family for them. And it's working. It's working significantly across the country. So it's a couple of things. It's policy, absolutely, but it's also, I think caseworkers needed an evidence-based practice that they could use so they wouldn't any longer write in a file, I don't know how to get a 14-year-old adopted. I don't know how to get a 17-year-old adopted. We have a program that gets these children adopted.
Oh, I would love to hear some of the so-called tactics and principles that the Dave Thomas Foundation is using to get these older children adopted. What would be some of them off the top of your head, Rita?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's this great partnership. So it's sort of a public-private partnership. We're a grant-making organization, and so we provide resources so an agency or a state can hire a full-time skilled adoption professional who's committed to permanency for children to begin with. They can't be doing all of the things in the child welfare spectrum. They can't carry a caseload of 40 or 50 children. They can only carry a caseload of 12 to 15 children. So they have time. And the tactics aren't rocket science. It's develop a relationship with each and every child on your caseload. Get to know who they are. Understand their journey and where they are. Understand their hopes and wishes and dreams. But also take the time to do a deep dive into their case file, because by the time we're working with children who have been in care the longest, their case files are rich with potential adoptive resources. But that also includes extended family members. Again, there was a time not so long ago when child welfare agencies would say, oh, we could never possibly place this child with extended family members because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Again, when nothing could be further from the truth most of the time. And when you place a child with extended family members, you allow that child to maintain a connection to whom they are, a connection to their community.
Rita, I've had some people that I know personally that have foster children and, fall in love with these, either they're babies or they're a bit older. And then they have had situations where the children then are gone. They go back to their biological family, but like they know as they're fostering that's not good for the child because the history is just too dangerous, and yet they are taken out of their hands. And so I'm not sure if bringing this up is the right thing to do, but I want to maybe talk to the people who worry about, like, what if I do foster a child and want to adopt and we become totally a family, and then we have this thing happen where they're then taken back. Is that frequent? Is that something that happens all the time, or is that per state because of the different laws in each different state?
Right.
How does that work?
It's a great question. And it's something that I think folks who are thinking about fostering or thinking about foster to adopt really need to contemplate as they're jumping into this. Look, our first default for children come into care because they've been abused or neglected. Our goal is to get them back home. What services does this family need? How can we make this family safe for this child? It takes quite a process to move children through the court until the judge finally decides this child can never go home, and so we're going to legally separate this child from family. So folks who come into it just to foster need to keep in mind that you're right. I may fall in love with these children. I may really feel like I've got a family forming when I've got children who are in foster care. But I have to keep in the back of my mind that hopefully what's best for these children is for them to go home to a safe environment now. And to know that as a foster parent who does that, that they might be that one connection in that child's life that really had an influence and really made a change in their mind about, I can trust adults. There are caring adults in this world, no matter what they may be going back to. It is difficult sometimes when a foster family says, wow, I just don't know about that family. At some level, we have to trust the caseworkers, the social workers are doing the right thing on behalf of this child. And sometimes those children come back into care, understood, and mistakes are made, or families that we think have changed haven't, or fall back into negative behaviors of substance abuse or something like that as well. So absolutely, that's a first concern. But folks can also come into the system, typically in most states, in a sort of foster to adopt mode, so that you may be fostering, you get your feet wet in what is the system? How do I manage dealing with government employees? What's the support systems around me? You really learn the system and then make it clear to your caseworker, I am also interested in adopting. And so they may place children in your home who have been recently freed for adoption, or who are on the track to be freed for adoption. That's a little bit more iffy again, because they may be on the track and then they may go back home. But usually if they're on that track, then they're moving toward adoption. And so you begin to establish that household for a child that hopefully will turn into a permanent household. So it's absolutely a valid conversation. I think people need to think deeply about, is this what I can handle? Is this what my family can handle? But no, the flip side of that is you may be that one adult in a child's life, no matter what happens, that really helps them understand the value of family, that helps them trust adults again. And sometimes you can stay connected to a child as well, even once they've gone back home.
Absolutely. And I'm thinking that very much the Dave Thomas Foundation offers an incredible support and a network to help anybody who's facing this decision about whether or not they feel they can foster or adopt. Yes. So anybody in any state can go to your website and find out how to start the process there.
Absolutely. DaveThomasFoundation.org. We've got a great resource. It's a pretty simple resource, but it's really good. It's the Beginner's Guide to Adoption. So it walks folks through every step. What do I need to do? Who do I reach out to? I have to, schedule classes. I have to get a home study. I have to get a background check. And so people are going to be scouring into my life to make sure I'm a safe placement for a child. And then the next steps of what people can expect. And they can download it from the website. They can order a hard copy. It's a nice first place to start.
Rita Soronin, thank you so very much for all the work that you do in the world for these children and for the Dave Thomas Foundation. You're somebody I've admired all these years, and I did everything I could to track you down and find you again because I wanted the world to hear about the work you're doing. Thank you so much for joining us on the way home.
No, you are amazing, and let's not make it 8 more years before we talk again.
Absolutely not. 100%. Rita Soronin, and President and CEO of the Dave Thomas Foundation. DaveThomasFoundation.org is where you can go to find out all the information. If your heart is fluttering right now because you're thinking maybe it's your turn or your time to adopt or foster a child, Dave Thomas Foundation has the wonderful guidance and support and network that you need to start your journey. Thank you so much, Rita.
Thank you.
God bless and much love. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to The Way Home with Laura Smith. Once again, here's Laura.
This segment is an encore from a show that we did last year, almost at this time, April of 2024, with the great Tom Kraeutler. Tom Kraeutler was an American home improvement expert and the host of the beloved Money Pit show, all about home improvement as well. We wish him Godspeed and miss him very much. Well, spring is finally here, at least for us in northern Indiana. It's finally warming up, and the buds are out on the trees. And boy, does that not make you just nostalgic for being outdoors or being out on your patio or your deck or whatever. But, sometimes we don't really realize how our spaces are able to expand in a certain way, or we can get more out of different spaces than we normally thought we could. And Tom Kraeutler is here, and he is going to tell us always, not only can we expand our outdoor experience, but we can also save money doing so. It might feel like it's going to cost a lot of money, especially this year with inflation on just about everything. Thank you so much for joining us, Tom. Tell us, you have so much expertise in the world of the outdoors and maximizing space and energy and all of it. So do tell.
Okay, so let's start by talking about ways to maximize your outdoor space. If you have an elevated deck, that's an opportunity because the area underneath is usually damp and dingy. That makes it a hard space to use. But the solution is to add an underdeck drainage system. So Trex RainEscape does just that. It uses a network of troughs and downspouts to divert water away from the deck, and that protects the deck structure from rot and decay, and it keeps that space below very, very dry. Now, most drainage systems install below the joist of a deck, but Trex RainEscape installs over the joist, so it protects the entire structure and also allows you to run gas and electrical lines just below the deck surface so you can power lights and appliances and all the other things you're going to put in your newfound space. So with the RainEscape in place, you now have doubled your deck's living space, just like that.
So it's called RainScape, you said?
RainEscape. Trex RainEscape.
Because I noticed that underneath my deck, I've only had it for 2 years. I moved, and I have all this, it's like green. It looks like it's probably moss or something that's growing under there. It's so unattractive.
It's like no man's land under there.
It is.
You know? So if you install a RainEscape system, then it will capture that water and then run it through a series of downspouts, just like your house, and keep that water away. And folks do amazing things with that space. They build outdoor dining, they build outdoor kitchens, they increase their storage area, they have high-tech game rooms and TV spaces, because now it's another dry space that you can use.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Now, what about, safety? And I have like these gas, I have a gas little fire pit thing, and then a gas thing, a heater to make my deck warmer. I have never used them because I'll be honest with you, I'm a little afraid. I don't know if it's something that is really safe to use. And what if I do something wrong and then I catch the house on fire? So I've never been able to enjoy them.
Well, if they're gas appliances, they're going to have very specific instructions with them. And if you don't have the instructions, I'm sure you'd find them online. And what you're going to look for is what the clearance to combustible number is. So you're usually pretty safe with 3 feet. So if you keep it at least 3 feet away, anything that can burn, you're okay. But I will warn you, I don't know if you have vinyl siding, but I've seen a lot of vinyl siding damaged because it was too close to a fire pit, and the radiant heat just melts that stuff.
Oh my gosh,
down.
that's good to know.
So, but you look for the standards, look for the specs, and that will answer that question. It's nothing to be afraid of. You just want to make sure that you're using it correctly.
Right. And you know a bunch of ways in which people can really save money through different things. So tell us what are some of your biggest trends and upgrades that will help save on energy costs, which have just gone through the roof no matter what part of the country you're in.
Right. So power outages are increasingly common across the entire country. That makes having backup power more important than ever. You may be familiar with Briggs & Stratton. They're known for their line of generators, home standby generators. Well, they've introduced a new technology that provides reliable backup power. It's called the 6.6 Simplified Battery System, and the batteries kick on automatically when they sense a power outage. They can also be controlled by an app to provide power to a home at specific times, like, for example, when the utility company might charge higher rates. We call that demand pricing. When it gets busy, the rates for electricity go up, but you could pull that power right off the batteries and not pay for it. It's also extremely versatile, so you can store power that you derive from solar panels or the grid or even a generator. And the capacity of the batteries can be scaled to meet the homeowner's specific needs. And they're now less expensive thanks to state and local incentives and a 30% federal tax credit from the Inflation Reduction Act. Now, another area of homes that uses a lot of electricity are water heaters. If you have an electric water heater, it may be one of the most expensive appliances in your house to run. Rheem developed a new water heater that's actually 4 times more efficient, called the Rheem Performance Platinum Hybrid Electric Heat Pump Water Heater. And that efficiency adds up to a savings of $315 per year in energy costs. It's available at the Home Depot, and because it's a hybrid, it can also function as a standard electric tank for high demand periods when you need it. It's also got a built-in Wi-Fi technology, so you can adjust the water temperature and set schedules all from your smartphone. So it's a really innovative product that can save you a lot of money on electricity.
It's interesting. Some of these things that they come out with that are supposed to help to conserve energy so that you pay less and everything, they are not as great. Like, I was so looking forward to my new shower in my new home and having this big, like, what do they call it, the rainwater thing? And but come to find out that they're trying to save water, so it doesn't have hardly any pressure. It's not like the old time showers,
I know. That's unfortunate.
Some of these things we wonder, are they better really in the long run? But it sounds like your products or these products are actually going to save you money, but they're still efficient. I think that's what I'm looking for. Something that has the same efficiency.
Well, I'll let you know a little secret. I have moved my shower head through 3 houses. because I didn't want to give it up because I knew the new ones weren't going to give me that kind of force that we were all looking for. So let's talk about some other improvements in technology, specifically around smoke alarms, because their technology is being updated to improve fire safety. And First Alert has introduced what they call precision detection. It's an advanced sensing technology for smoke and combo smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. And it delivers two key benefits. First, they provide early warning in the event of a home fire emergency, which is especially important in modern homes because they burn hotter and faster. And they reduce nuisance alarm, which is the number one reason that people disable alarms. There are other helpful features out now, like voice location alerts, so you know where the fire is, interconnection, which means if one detector alarms, they all alarm, and a 10-year sealed battery. So once you install this, you never have to replace the battery. It works for 10 years, and then you replace the detector. So if you want to add more alarms or replace the ones you have, you should really be considering the First Alert precision detection alarms. They really are a great choice for all of those reasons. And lastly, I'll give you one more weekend project to think about.
Please do.
And that is if your toilets start to act up, if they start to run, they start to squeal, they ghost flush, and they need repair, find parts is a hassle. So Fluid Master has a solution. It's quick and easy. It's called the Everything Toilet Tank Repair Kit. It's basically that. It's everything you need to repair your toilet. It's a fast and easy way to fix problems like running toilets and noisy toilets and slow filling toilets. That's wasting a lot of water. And the kit includes all the parts that you need to basically rebuild yourself a new toilet from the inside out. All the parts are designed to work together, so you don't have to make multiple trips to the store, which even I am guilty of because I don't have the right part. It even includes specially designed tools to simplify the job. Definitely a DIY project, and you can get clear instructions and videos on the Fluid Master website. They walk you through step by step. They're really good at that, and that's at fluidmaster.com.
Well, I was wondering, Tom Kraeutler, do you have a specific website where people can go to find all these different products that you talked about?
Yes.
That just sound like really wonderful, and I know people are going to want to be able to access them.
Yeah, we actually uploaded five posts on our website. It's right on our homepage under Spring Top Products. And you can read more about each of these and find out where they're available and consider buying them if you're interested.
And what is the website again?
Moneypit.com. Moneypit.com.
Moneypit.com.
And by the way, if your listeners have questions, they can also reach us at 888-MONEYPIT, and we will call them back next time we're in the studio.
Always such a fan of the Money Pit. Tom Kraeutler with us, giving us so many great tips of what's out there now and ways we can expand our outdoor space and enjoy it safely and more cheaply. So thank you so much, Tom. Great to be with you today.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Way Home with Laura Smith. Here's Laura.
You know, some people in radio are just iconic, and that gentleman was certainly one, Tom Kraeutler. And boy, just makes you just miss him because he's somebody that you heard so often on the radio and saw in so many segments that you just think they're going to be around forever. And so he will be in our thoughts and our memories and our hearts. That is for sure. But another one with an iconic voice that you can never forget, who is truly a gem when it comes to going out there and finding stories that make you feel good, that make you have hope again, once again, for humanity. Jim Clevefield, thank you so much for being here, my friend.
You're so welcome. I aim to please, no way. We'll start our first story in the Steel City of Pittsburgh, and this involves an 81-year-old waitress. Now, she is doing this job not because she wants to, but really it's out of necessity. Now, you would think when somebody gets to that kind of age, you know, it's time to retire and enjoy life. Most people usually get that opportunity. Sadly for this woman, who only goes by the name of Betty, is not able to do that. She has to do this waitressing job because she lives on Social Security, and it doesn't really pay very much. In fact, it's only $910 a month. No way near enough to pay her bills. She is really struggling. I mean, who could possibly live on that much money, right? Well, there was someone who was dining named Tammy Concierge and her son. They were meeting with the waitress as they were ordering their food, and they were hearing the heartbreaking story about Betty and her situation, that she has to work this job and just can't afford to retire. She really wanted to. Well, it was so heartbreaking that Tammy decided to do something. Now, here's where the power of social media comes in. And I've mentioned this on so many of these stories on the show in the years that we've been on the air. She took to TikTok, and she started a GoFundMe page to raise some money for the waitress named Betty to try to help her retire. The goal was $25,000 to start this GoFundMe page. Well, it got such an incredible response. 13,000 donors, as a matter of fact. Well, not only did she reach the goal of $25,000 to help Betty retire, $319,000 was raised to help her retire. And you can imagine, I mean, Tammy was, just in tears over this response. Another viewer that was watching this go viral. I mean, she couldn't believe it. And just to help this woman, hopefully, she said, to finally live a peaceful, happy retirement, which she richly deserves. And I think, again, it just goes to show you with this kind of a story. So many people just coalescing around this lady, and now just to make her life better. I'd like to see more stories like this. I'm just so happy for Betty that she can finally at last join the life that she really should have.
Unbelievable. I mean, it's not unbelievable in the sense that you hear about this all the time, how people gather around an idea or a cause or a human being and want to help. Random strangers who just want to help. But say that figure again, how much
$319,000 was raised from this GoFundMe page as a result of her posting this on TikTok. A lot of people, 13,000 people helping to raise this much money for her.
What an incredible windfall for her. So deserved, as you said. So I know you have another one up your sleeve where that one came from.
I do. Now, we don't know exactly where in America this story is, but it's very interesting. There was a lost wallet found. A gentleman found it on a Saturday recently. We don't know who it belonged to. Now, you would think, wherever this place is, he would take the wallet and maybe go to the police station, put it in a drop box, and it will be claimed maybe about a couple of days later on a Monday. Well, not the case. The police stations were closed. So this gentleman, and we don't know where it is or who it is, decided to do something very clever to try to reunite the owner with this wallet so that way nobody steals his identity. We hear a lot about identity theft these days. I mean, it's a common thing that's been going on a lot, unfortunately. He decided to, where he found the wallet, place a little flyer somewhere with a cryptographic code. And on that code, it includes like the birth date, which was the ID on the wallet. So this way, to reunite this gentleman with his property so nobody else steals his identity. He got the idea from a cryptographic video. I guess there's a how-to on YouTube. You can look somewhere. Anyway, he posted that flyer, and somewhere, I don't know when the owner was able to see that flyer, contacted the man and was able to be reunited with his property somewhere. And it's really ingenious. I mean, when you see flyers, I mean, they're, listing, let's say events and things, but to actually find something, because this is very sensitive. I mean, a wallet could have thousands of dollars in it, but somehow he was able to identify this code with his birth date. And as I said, he found the man, they contacted him, and happily he's got his wallet back. Very, very, very clever thinking on that.
That's interesting. Wonderful stuff there, Jim Cleefield. And we thank you so much for always bringing us good news. Makes us feel up as we head on out into the work week. Have a beautiful week, everybody. We thank you from the way home. I'm Laura Smith.
Podcasts by Federated Media.